Hello and welcome to 6 Selected African American Digital Resources. My name is Terry Corbin Hutchinson and I am a supervisory librarian at the Lawrenceville branch. African Americans have a rich cultural legacy that predates slavery in this country, postdates it, and extends well beyond 1 month. We are a culture filled with long lists of achievements, many examples of overcoming obstacles, resilience, and strength. I would like to take a moment to look at African American history via the lens of the 95-year lifespan of one African American scholar, historian, sociologist, social activist, global Pan-Africanist, writer, and so much more. A voice fighting for equal rights for African Americans in all areas of life for all of his. His life and his historical sociological studies touched every era before his death, from slavery, Reconstruction, segregation, the Atlanta race riot of 1906, the Harlem Renaissance, World War I, the Civil Rights Movement, and the foundations of the Black Power movement. W.E.B. Du Bois, or William Edward Bernhard Du Bois, who was born 5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation during radical Reconstruction, that brief experiment with civil and voting rights for former slaves in the former Confederacy. He died the day before the 1963 March on Washington. The last of his copious writings was a telegram of support to the organizers of the march, even though he died as a citizen of Ghana after renouncing his U.S. citizenship. Before Marcus Garvey, before Martin Luther King Jr., before Malcolm X, there was W.E.B. Du Bois. Who is W.E.B. Du Bois? Oh, I could tell you more about him, his life, and his legacy. And there are various biographies written about him, his life, his various works, and activism, including a 2-volume biography written in his honor. But let's take a look at those 6 selected digital resources available from the Gwinnett County Public Library webpage, gwinnett.org. I am honored to share a small selection of my culture with all of you via the exploration of the following 6 databases. They are Biography and Context, Botanical Online, eBooks on EBSCOhost, Explora for High School, Gale eBooks Black History Month, and Oxford African American Study Center. Here's a key piece of advice for research if you happen to be seeking information on W.E.B. Du Bois. The spelling of his last name is D-U space B-O-I-S, Bois, and is pronounced Du Bois. This tidbit, the correct spelling of his last name, opens up a wealth of information in each database we will peruse. Please note, Gale is a major publisher of digital content. Results may overlap in some cases. In each database, I will select highlights of W.E.B. Du Bois's story and his place in African American history. Let's begin with a visit to Biography in Context. First, let's start by entering his name in the search box. After selecting W.E.B. Du Bois, we are giving an overview of his life, including some quick facts, which I will read out loud to pass the time and because I love to hear myself talk. From the late 1890s through the 1940s, W.E.B. Du Bois was one of the leading Black intellectuals and the foremost champion of equal rights for Blacks in the United States. At a time when many Black Americans sought to improve their status by adapting to the ideals of white society and tolerating discrimination and segregation, Du Bois was a tireless proponent of unconditional, equal, and civil rights for all blacks. As a social scientist, he was also a pioneer in documenting historical and social truths about blacks in the United States. In eloquent and forceful writings in a variety of genres, he was the first to write of a distinct black consciousness, which he described as the peculiar two-ness of being both black and an American. Du Bois's legacy has served as the intellectual foundation for the modern-day black protest movement. He is regarded by many as a prophet whose words inspired oppressed people throughout the world in the struggle for civil rights. If you scroll down a little further, you will see access to additional resources available from Biography and Context. Here's the true gem located amidst these additional resources. His timeline, a chronological listing of his varied life achievements. Next, we will visit Botanical Online. I selected high school, typed in his last name, and then selected the article entitled Du Bois, American Sociologist and Social Reformer. If you click on the table of contents, you will be able to view article headings. There are tabs for images and video, plus related. In my humble opinion, the true gem here is best websites under the related tab. This gives you opportunities to view Du Bois via multiple yet different lenses, including philosophy, poetry, as well as the periods of his life he spent in Georgia. Next, we will visit eBooks on EBSCOhost. I conducted my research. This yielded 234 results. Results can be limited to full text, download available, publication date, subject, publisher, language, and category. I narrowed the scope of my search by publication date, which then yielded 120 results. My results were whittled down further to 31 results, with the subject, social science, ethnic studies, African American, Black studies. That was all one subject heading. And I chose this title based on my own curiosity. And the title is From Du Bois to Obama, African American Intellectuals and the Public Forum by Charles P. Banner Haley. There are links to the most relevant pages of this ebook, and there is a link to the table of contents. But you're able to access so much information just by browsing the results. There are insights into topics and titles related to Du Bois and his involvement in Black intellectual life. Topics and titles such as the fight for Black power, African American intelligentsia, a history of African American cooperative economic thought and practice, unceasing militant, struggle for civil rights, freedom of marriage, which is defined as the process of extricating oneself from slavery. John Brown Still Lives, America's long reckoning with violence and equality and change. Let's move on to the next database or electronic resource. The next would be Explora for high school. I conducted my search and this yielded 1,366 results. That included periodical, academic journal, and encyclopedia articles, as well as selections from letters written by Du Bois. Please note, if a basic search is conducted, then a topic overview is available, which gives a general summary of Du Bois's life. I looked at every single one of those 1,366 results. No, I didn't. Results can be refined in a number of ways. Full text, scholarly peer-reviewed journals, publication date, source type. I selected trade publications, which yielded 3 results, and I selected W.E.B. Du Bois, A Century of Conscience by Anne Burns. It's a selected annotated bibliography of his works published in Library Journal. I am a librarian, by the way. So the next digital resource we're going to review is Gale eBooks, Black History Month. I conducted my search, and this yielded 210 results. Results can be filtered by subjects, document type, publication title, publication languages, lexile measure, content level, and search within. In addition, there are options to select documents containing images or videos. If you scroll down further, there's a topic finder for the discovery of related topics and search results. I selected subjects, which yielded 14 results. Then I selected the Niagara Movement due to my curiosity. This was an organization founded in 1905 by Du Bois and 29 prominent Black intellectuals that was a precursor to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP, which was founded in 1910. And now, drum roll please. Our final digital resource. We will visit the Oxford African American Study Center. I did not plan this, but it so happens that W.E.B. Du Bois is featured in a listing of this database's latest blog post entitled W.E.B. Du Bois and the Literature of Upheaval. Here is what I want you to focus on. I was pleasantly surprised some years ago when I heard that W.E.B. Du Bois explored these themes in science fiction. Short story, The Comet, which was published in 1920. One of the preeminent intellectuals of his time, Du Bois is of course best known for his extensive scholarship on the African American experience, which covered topics such as the slave trade, the global Pan-African community, and race relations. But as demonstrated in The Comet, as well as an earlier short story written, recently rediscovered, Du Bois saw in science fiction a genre that was ready-made for exploring the consequences and the possibilities of a massive and irrevocable upheaval. But his story goes beyond mere wish fulfillment and suggests that even an apocalypse may not be powerful enough to wipe the slate clean and start over. If you still thirst for books, as I do, here is a selected few for all ages that can be found at our libraries at the Gwinnett County Public Library, written by W.E.B. Du Bois or about him. Please note, these digital resources can be used to find out more information about W.E.B. Du Bois, discover additional facts about Black History Month related topics, or to fulfill your other information needs. Thank you for spending time with me today. I learned much while composing and compiling this program for you. I hope you learned some fascinating facts about the extraordinary life of W.E.B. Du Bois and African American history. Bye-bye.